It was almost midnight when my phone buzzed. I was lying in bed with the lights off. I was not asleep. I was just staring at the ceiling, the way you do when your mind is too full to rest. My phone lit up on the pillow beside me. A message from a number I did not know. I picked it up. The screen was bright in the dark room. I read the message. I can't stop thinking about her. Do you think I should just tell her how I feel? I stared at the words. I did not know this number. I did not know who sent it. And I certainly did not know who her was. It was clearly a mistake. Someone had typed the wrong number. It happens all the time. One wrong digit, and your private message goes to a stranger in the dark. I should have written back something simple. Sorry, wrong number. That is what a normal person would do. That is what I planned to do. But then another message came. I'm sorry. That was meant for someone else. Please ignore that. And then, a second later, this is so embarrassing. Just delete it, ha. There was something in the way he typed. The little ha at the end, the embarrassment. It made me smile in the dark. I do not know why. He sounded sweet. He sounded nervous. He sounded like a real person having a real, scary feeling at midnight. I typed back, "It's okay. Your secret is safe with a stranger." I do not know why I wrote that. Maybe because it was late. Maybe because I was lonely too. Maybe because I liked the idea of being a safe stranger for one small moment. 3 dots appeared. He was typing. "Thank you," he wrote. "A stranger is actually easier to talk to. You don't know me. You can't judge me." "That's true," I typed. "So who is she?" There was a long pause. The 3 dots came and went. Came and went. "A girl in my class," he finally wrote. "I've liked her for months, but I'm too scared to say anything. She probably doesn't even know I exist." I put the phone down on my chest for a moment. My heart was doing something strange, because I knew that feeling. I knew it very, very well. You see, there was a boy in my class too. A boy I had liked for months. A boy I was too scared to talk to. A boy who probably did not even know I existed. His name was Daniel, but this could not be Daniel. This was a wrong number. A stranger. A boy somewhere in the city, thinking about a girl who was not me. I picked up the phone again. "You should tell her," I typed. "The worst thing that can happen is she says no, and then at least you know." "That's easy to say," he wrote back. "But when I see her, my brain stops working. I forget every word I ever learned." I laughed out loud in the empty room. "I know exactly what that feels like," I typed. "You do?" he wrote. "There's a boy in my class," I typed, before I could stop myself. "I've liked him since the first week. I've never said a single real word to him. When he looks at me, I look at my shoes." "So we're the same," he wrote. "We're the same," I agreed. And that was how it started. 2 strangers in the dark, both in love with someone who did not know it, both too scared to speak. We were safe with each other because we were nothing to each other. We could say anything. We talked until 2 in the morning that first night. He told me about the girl in his class. He said she was quiet, but when she smiled, the whole room got warmer. He said she always sat near the window. He said she chewed the end of her pen when she was thinking. He said she had a small laugh that she tried to hide behind her hand. I told him about Daniel. I said Daniel had dark hair that fell into his eyes. I said he was clever, but he never showed off about it. I said he was kind to everyone, even the people no one else noticed. I said that once he picked up a girl's dropped books without being asked, and I had thought about it for a week. He sounds nice, the stranger wrote. He is, I typed. Too nice for me to ever talk to. Don't say that, he wrote. Anyone would be lucky. I stared at those words for a long time before I went to sleep. The next day, I went to class. I sat in my usual seat near the middle of the room, and a few rows ahead, in his usual seat, was Daniel, dark hair falling into his eyes, bent over his notebook, writing something. I looked at him, and then I looked at my shoes. The same as always. That night, my phone buzzed again. Are you there, stranger? He wrote. I'm here, I typed, and I smiled. We talked every night after that. The next morning, I almost convinced myself it had been a dream. A strange, sweet dream that happens once and never again. I did not expect to hear from him. Why would a stranger want to keep talking to a wrong number? But that evening, as the sky turned dark, my phone buzzed right on time. Are you there, stranger? And my whole chest filled with light. It became the best part of my day. I would go through my classes and my job at the campus library and my quiet dinners alone, and the whole time I would be waiting for the dark, waiting for that buzz, waiting for my stranger. We never used our names. It became a kind of game. He was stranger, and I was stranger too. We decided that names would ruin it. Names would make it real. And if it was real, we might get scared and stop. But we told each other everything else. He told me he was studying to be a teacher. He said he wanted to teach small children because he liked the way they were not afraid to be curious. He told me his father had left when he was young, and his mother had raised him alone, working 2 jobs, and he loved her more than anyone in the world. He told me he was saving money to buy her a proper holiday, the first one of her life. I told him things I had never told anyone. I told him that I felt invisible most of the time, that I had a lot of thoughts, but no one to share them with, that I sometimes ate lunch in the library bathroom so no one would see me sitting alone, that I wanted to be a writer, but I had never shown a single story to another living person. Show me, he wrote one night. I can't, I typed. Why not? I'm a stranger. I can't hurt you. Remember? So I did. I copied out a paragraph of a story I had been writing, a small story about a girl who lived in a lighthouse and sent messages out to sea in bottles, hoping someone, somewhere, would write back. There was a long pause after I sent it. That's beautiful, he wrote. You have to keep writing. Promise me. I promise, I typed. And for the first time in my life, I believed I might actually do it. There was one night I will never forget. It was raining. I could hear it against my window, soft and steady. I told him I loved the sound of rain at night. I told him it made me feel safe, like the whole world had slowed down just for a moment. Look outside, he wrote. Is it raining where you are too? I looked. It was. Yes, I typed. It's raining here. Then we're under the same sky, he wrote. The same rain, even if you're far away. I did not tell him he had no idea how close I really was, that his rain and my rain were the same rain, falling on the same small city, on 2 windows that were maybe only streets apart. I held that secret in my chest like a warm stone, and I smiled, and I typed, the same sky. Can I tell you something? He wrote. Always, I typed. These conversations are the only time all day I feel like myself, he wrote. When I'm out there, I'm quiet. I'm the boy who doesn't say much. Nobody really knows me. But here, in the dark, with you, I'm someone else. I'm the person I actually am inside, and I've never had that with anyone before. I read it 3 times. It's the same for me, I typed, and it was the truest thing I had ever written. You're the only person who has ever known the real me. Two real people, he wrote, hiding in the dark. Two real people, I agreed. We stayed up until the rain stopped, and when I finally fell asleep, I was still holding my phone. The weeks passed, and something strange and quiet was happening to me. I was falling, not for Daniel, the boy in my class, or not only for him. I was falling for a voice in the dark, a voice with no face and no name. A boy who made me laugh at midnight and told me my stories were beautiful. It scared me, because how do you fall in love with someone you have never seen? Someone who might be anyone? Someone who was still, every night, talking about the girl in his class that he loved? That was the hard part, because even as we grew closer, he still talked about her, his girl, the quiet one by the window, with a hidden laugh. He was working up the courage to speak to her, and every night I helped him. I, the girl who loved him, helped him plan how to win someone else. I think I'm going to talk to her tomorrow, he wrote one night. My heart dropped. That's great, I typed. My fingers felt heavy. I'm terrified, he wrote. You'll be fine, I typed. Just be yourself, the self I know. If she sees even a little of that, she won't stand a chance. You always know what to say, he wrote. Honestly, sometimes I think. He stopped. You think what? I typed. Nothing, he wrote. It's silly. Tell me. We tell each other everything, remember? There was a long pause. Sometimes I think the girl I really talk to is you, he wrote. The stranger, not her. I don't even know your name, but I know you better than anyone. Isn't that strange? I could not breathe. I stared at the words on the screen until they blurred. That is strange, I finally typed, because I did not know what else to say. I'm sorry, he wrote quickly. That was too much. Forget I said it. I'm just nervous about tomorrow. It's okay, I typed. Go to sleep. Talk to your girl tomorrow. You deserve to be happy. So do you, stranger, he wrote. Good night. I did not sleep at all that night. The next day at university, I could barely concentrate. I kept thinking about what he had written. The girl I really talk to is you. I turned the words over and over in my mind, like a stone in my pocket. But he did not know I was in his phone. He did not know I sat 2 rows behind him in a life he had no idea I shared. He thought I was somewhere far away, a safe voice, a stranger, and tomorrow, or today, he was going to talk to the real girl, the one by the window. I looked around the classroom. Where was the window girl? I did not even know who she was. I looked at all the girls near the windows. There were 3 of them. Any one of them could be the one he loved. The thought made me feel sick and small. The guilt had been growing in me for weeks, and now it was almost too heavy to carry, because I was lying to him, not with words, but with silence. Every night, he opened his heart to a stranger, and he did not know that the stranger sat 2 rows behind him and watched him tie his shoelaces before class. He did not know that the stranger had memorized the way he tapped his pen. He did not know that when he wrote, "The girl I really talk to is you," he had said it to a girl who could have simply turned around in class and said, "It's me. It was always me." But I did not turn around. I kept the secret because the secret was the only thing keeping him close. If I told him the truth, one of 2 things would happen. Either he would be angry that I had known all along and said nothing, or worse, he would look at plain, quiet, invisible me and the warm voice in the dark would go cold because the real girl could never live up to the stranger he had imagined. So I said nothing, and the lie grew heavier every single day. That evening, I did not want to go home. I stayed late in the library, shelving books, moving slowly, dreading my empty room and the message that might or might not come. And then something happened that changed everything. I was pushing my little cart between the tall shelves in the quiet back corner of the library, where almost no one ever goes. And there, at his small table under the window, sat Daniel. He was alone. He had his phone in his hands. He was staring at it, frowning, typing something, and then deleting it, typing and deleting. He looked nervous. He looked exactly like a person trying to send a message he was afraid to send. I stopped. I do not know why. Something made me stop. My own phone was in my pocket, and as I stood there, half hidden behind the shelf, it buzzed. I took it out with a shaking hand. Okay, I'm doing it. I'm going to send her a message right now. Wish me luck, stranger. I looked up from my phone. At the table, 10 feet away, Daniel pressed something on his screen and let out a long breath, like a man who had just jumped off a high place. And my phone did not buzz again. I stood very still. My heart was pounding so hard, I thought the whole library could hear it. It could not be. It was impossible. There were thousands of students. It was a wrong number, a stranger. It could not be Daniel, but he was sitting right there. He had just sent a message to her, and my stranger had just told me he was sending a message to her at the exact same moment. I had to know. I walked out from behind the shelf, my legs shaking. I walked toward his table. He did not see me at first. He was looking at his phone, waiting, his knee bouncing under the table. Daniel, I said. My voice came out small, but he heard it. He looked up, and for the first time in all those months, Daniel looked directly at me, and he knew my name was going to be the next thing he needed, and he did not have it. Hi, he said. Sorry, Do we have a class together? Yes, I said. Literature. I sit 2 rows behind you. Right, he said. Right, of course. I'm sorry. I'm a bit distracted today. He gave a nervous laugh and rubbed the back of his neck. I just did something kind of terrifying. Did you? I said. I sent a message to a girl I like, he said. I've been too scared to talk to her for months, so I finally just sent it to her number, and now I'm sitting here feeling sick, waiting to see if she replies. He shook his head. Sorry, I don't even know why I'm telling you this. You're a stranger. The word landed in the middle of my chest like a stone dropped into still water. Stranger. What did you write? I asked. My voice was barely a whisper. He looked at his phone, then back at me. I wrote, I've liked you since the first week of class. I've never had the courage to say it. I'm probably too late, and you probably don't even know I exist, but I couldn't keep it inside anymore. It's Daniel from literature. I felt the world tilt because I had not received that message. My phone had not buzzed with those words, which meant he had sent it to her real number. The window girl, the one he loved. Not me, of course not me. I was the stranger, the wrong number, the safe voice in the dark. I was never the girl he was trying to reach. That's very brave, I managed to say. I hope she writes back. Thanks, he said, and he smiled at me. A real, warm, nervous smile, and I understood completely why the stranger had said the whole room got warmer when she smiled, because it did, even now. even breaking my heart. His smile was the kindest thing I had ever seen. I turned to go. I had to go before I started to cry in the middle of the library. But as I turned, my elbow knocked my phone off the top of my cart. It fell to the floor with a clatter and slid across the wooden boards, stopping right at Daniel's feet. He bent down and picked it up, and as he lifted it, the screen woke up. And there, on my screen, was our whole conversation. Months of it. Stranger and stranger. Midnight and midnight and midnight. The lighthouse story. The girl who sent messages out to sea, hoping someone would write back. He went very still. He looked at the screen. Then he looked at me. Then he looked at the screen again. This is, he said slowly. These are my messages. This is the stranger. This is... He scrolled up with his thumb, his hand trembling now, reading, and I could not move. I could not breathe. I could only stand there and watch my secret unfold in his hands. It was you, he whispered, the whole time. The wrong number. It was you. I did not know what to say, so I said the truest thing I had. I didn't tell you, I said. You texted the wrong number months ago, and it was me. And I knew, almost from the start, that you were a boy in my class. But I never told you, because I loved talking to you. And I was scared that if you knew it was just me, plain invisible me, you would stop. Daniel stood up slowly. He was holding my phone in both hands, like something precious. Plain invisible you, he repeated. The girl who writes about lighthouses. The girl who eats lunch alone because she thinks no one wants her there. The girl who has liked a boy in her class since the first week and never said a word. He looked up at me. That's you. That's me, I whispered. The boy you liked, he said. The one with the dark hair. The one who picked up the dropped books. Who was that? I could not answer. My face was burning. Was it me? He asked softly. Slowly, I nodded. Daniel let out a breath and laughed. A shaky, disbelieving laugh, and there were tears in his eyes now too. The girl I was trying to text just now, he said. The window girl. Do you know who she is? I shook my head. There is no window girl, he said. There never was. I made her up, weeks ago, because I was falling for a stranger on my phone, and it scared me so much that I invented a safe girl in my class to talk about instead. A girl who wasn't real, so I wouldn't have to admit that the person I was really falling for was you, the stranger, the one with no name. He shook his head. And it turns out the stranger was in my class the whole time, 2 rows behind me. The library was very quiet around us. Somewhere far off, someone turned a page. The message just now, I said. You said you sent it to her, to the window girl. I sent it to a number I made up in my own contacts weeks ago and labeled with a fake name, he said, and he laughed again, wiping his eyes, so I could pretend she was real. I sent that message to nobody. It went nowhere, because there was never anybody but you. He held out my phone to me, but he did not let go of it when I took it. So for a moment, we were both holding it, our hands touching, the whole conversation glowing between us. Can I know your name now? He asked. The real one? I think I'm ready for it to be real. I told him my name. He said it back, softly, like he was tasting it. Then he smiled, that warm smile again, the one that made the room warmer, and this time it was aimed at nobody else in the world but me. Hi, he said. I'm Daniel. I've liked you since the first week of class. I've never had the courage to say it, and I'm not a stranger anymore. I did not look at my shoes. For the first time, I looked right at him. "Hi, Daniel," I said. "It's nice to finally meet you." We left the library together as it was closing, out into the cool evening air, and we walked and talked the way we always had at midnight, except now I could see his face and he could see mine, and neither of us was afraid. He read the rest of my lighthouse story that week. He was the first person I ever showed. He told me I had to send it somewhere real, and he sat with me while I did, his hand over mine on the mouse. Months later, a small magazine printed it, The Girl in the Lighthouse, sending her messages out to sea, hoping someone would write back. Someone did write back. He had just sent it to the wrong number first. That night, for the first time in months, we did not text at midnight. We did not need to. We had spent the whole evening walking under the streetlights, talking out loud, our voices low and warm in the dark. It was strange and wonderful to hear his voice instead of reading his words. It was even better than I had imagined, and I had imagined it a great deal. Before he left me at my door, he stopped. "I have to ask you something," he said. "That night, I texted the wrong number. If it had been anyone else who answered, anyone at all, do you think it would have been the same?" I thought about it. "No," I said. "I don't think so. I think it had to be us. I think 100 wrong numbers would have just said sorry and gone to sleep. It only worked because we were both hiding the same way. Two people looking at their shoes." He smiled. "Two real people in the dark," he said. "Not hiding anymore," I said. "People ask us how we met. Daniel always tells them the same thing. He says he sent a message into the dark to a number he got wrong, never expecting anyone to answer. And I always finish it for him. I say I answered. I could have written wrong number. I could have said sorry and rolled over and gone to sleep, and we would have passed each other in that classroom for years. Two lonely people looking at their shoes and never known. But I didn't tell him, and that turned out to be the best thing I ever did."